Today, folks, I want to talk about a story that many of you may not have heard about too much, Victoria Harbour Bird Sanctuary. Before I do this, I have to show you something. Why are we here today talking about birds and bird sanctuaries? What is this bird here? Something that want you to be aware of. You may have heard about them, the passenger pigeon. Okay, so this is a mounted specimen of a passenger pigeon, an extinct species, possibly the world's most abundant bird 100 years ago, 150 years ago, 3 to 5 billion of them, and we managed to kill them all through market hunting. I will explain to you in a second what market hunting is all about. The last passenger pigeon died in September 1914, 100 years ago, and this precipitated the Migratory Bird Convention in 1916, the Migratory Bird Convention Act of 1917, 100 years ago, and the creation of Victoria Harbour Bird Sanctuary in 1923. Let me show you another bird very quickly. What is this? Goose. A brant. There we go. So a Pacific black brant. They are moving through in large numbers right now. In fact, we've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, thousands flying by Victoria in the last month. I saw another 50 of them yesterday going above the Trial Islands. They're still moving through. A favorite Christmas meal 100 years ago. So I will explain to you in a second why Victoria Harbour Bird Sanctuary was created. It had a lot to do with brant. And it's a goose, just barely larger than a mallard, essentially. And the third bird I want to show you I want to show you this little one here. The marble murrelet. Marble murrelet in summer plumage, a common seabird in the Salish Sea, relatively common, it's a threatened species. I just want to mention the fact that they are with us even here in the city of Victoria. You can see marble murrelet in Victoria Outer Harbour from Ogden Point and Clover Point if you pay attention. So the birds that we talk about often, the Salish Sea, are actually right here with us in the city. It's kind of interesting to see this. So I had to show you these three and then we'll move on. What are we going to talk about? Very briefly, I have 15 minutes until I want to talk about an old bird sanctuary, the first migratory bird sanctuary in Pacific Canada. I want to talk about a new naturehood. This old bird sanctuary was recognized as a naturehood. I'll explain to you in a minute what it is in 2015. And I want to give you a positive outlook of what's happening in Greater Victoria, in the heart of the Salish Sea. And by the way, I have to come back. To me, the harlequin duck is the most beautiful bird we have around here. I don't know if you agree with me. It's just a gorgeous bird. And the black oyster catcher, well, it's a funny looking one, but I also love it. They're kind of beautiful. Very quickly, folks, I want you to be aware of this story. We've been talking about birds in Victoria for 100 years. And in 1923, on October 27, 1923, Victoria Harbour Bird Sanctuary was created from Portage Inlet to the Colquest River all the way down to 10 Mile Point, so the area in dark blue. So it's a lot larger than Victoria Harbour itself. And why was this bird sanctuary created in 1923? Long story short, it had a lot to do with the brant. I just showed you a brant. So the brant 100 years ago, market hunters, people hunting wildlife and selling them to hotels, restaurants, and public markets were very active. And one of their main targets was the brant, and there was a fear that the brant would just disappear. So this bird sanctuary was created to rein in the market hunting of all birds and brant in particular. Let me just show you here what market hunting did. It was a huge thing. In fact, in Canada, we've had market hunting happening until about the 1960s. So when the Migratory Bird Convention came in 1916, it took several decades to rein in all the market hunting. And again, the main species of interest here was the brant, which was very common in winter 100 years ago. Thousands of them were wintering in Victoria. Today, well, we have basically none. 1, 2, 3, or 10 in Victoria. We have about 200 or 300 by Island View Beach in central Saanich, but the large numbers of wintering brant are now gone. Just want to briefly outline that Victoria Harbour Bird Sanctuary is one of 3 bird sanctuaries that were created 8 or 9 decades ago in Greater Victoria. The oldest, Victoria Harbour Bird Sanctuary, then we have Shola Harbour, just by Sydney, North Saanich, and then of course Esquimalt Lagoon in Colwood. Those are 3 bird sanctuaries created in 1923 and 1931 to rein in the market hunting. So the same story. And today these 3 bird sanctuaries are going through a revival of sorts. We are interested in them because they actually support interesting wildlife in the city. They are home to remarkable urban wildlife. By the way, I just want to, you remember this campaign, Follow the Birds to Victoria? The 1920s. This was an image that was very heavily used. So Victoria, the Greater Victoria area has always been known to be good for birds, and it has a lot to do with the location on the southern tip of Vancouver Island. A lot of wildlife moves through around the southern tip of Vancouver Island, birds and whales and fishes. And interestingly, we are right in the heart of the Salish Sea, between the Fraser River and the Pacific Ocean, so there's a lot of movement going through our region. That's why we have lots of birds and interesting wildlife. So what happened in 2015, very quickly, a group, the largest group of naturalists in Canada, Nature Canada, 75-year-old group, recognized our 3 historic migratory bird sanctuaries, Victoria Harbour, Shoal Harbour, and Esquimalt Lagoon, as new Canadian naturehoods. This is a news update that I decided to give you today. It's just a new designation as of 2 years ago. New naturehoods, meaning they are urban areas with remarkable urban wildlife. In fact, folks, in Greater Victoria, as you know, we've got all kinds of whales and octopuses and oak forests, rare plants like the golden paintbrush and birds like the barbel merlin. Arguably, in Greater Victoria, we have the best coastal and marine wildlife in urban Canada. It's an amazing story for an urban area. And all of this born out of these 3 old bird sanctuaries. Very quickly, I just want to mention, I hope that you're aware of an incredibly positive story that is unfolding. It started 2 or 3 decades ago, but I hope you realize, folks, that a lot of effort has been done into restoring our local coastal waters, our harbour. In fact, Victoria Harbour, the Gorge Waterway, the Selkirk water in particular, have not been this clean in about half a century. Are you fully aware of this? It's an amazing story. As a society, we've spent a lot of money doing this, a lot of effort. And as a result of this, not only can people now swim in the Gorge Waterway, started about 10 years ago, but now the wildlife is really coming back. It's a very, very positive story. Who of you have swum in the Gorge Waterway? You have, Anne? I have, you have. So this was unthinkable 20 or 30 years ago. Another interesting story, folks, that is happening that I want you to be fully aware of. Some wildlife species are really coming back to our region. But beyond what most people understand, we have species like the western purple martins. The nesting box program is working very well. And, well, in 30 years ago, there were barely 5 pairs of them left, and now we've got over 1,000 pairs. We've got the bald eagles are back with us. You've noticed that we have lots of bald eagles. This was not the fact not 20, 30 years ago. So they have rebounded. It's a post-DDT rebound. And it's a success story. The bowling goes up back. The salmon, well, Dorothy just mentioned to us, we've got urban salmon coming back to the Coquitz River and the Craigflower Creek. It's a success story. We've got, are you aware, folks, that now we see sea otters in Victoria every year? We see the river otters everywhere at sea, but now we see sea otters coming back every year, 1 or 2, and in fact in 2015, we had 3 sea otters on the same day in Greater Victoria. This is amazing. It's really happening. What is this seal here? The molting seal losing its skin. It's a northern elephant seal. Elephant seals are back in our waters as well. They were nearly extinct 100 years ago. We stopped hunting them. They're coming back, and we see them molting on our beaches. It's a success story. It's interesting. And I have to say something about the humpback whales, because possibly many of you are not aware of how many humpback whales were with us around Greater Victoria in the southern Salish Sea last year. Do you know how many humpback whales were here? Between 60 and 80. Up to 80 at the same time. So these wildlife species are coming back to our waters. It's a success story for Greater Victoria and for the Salish Sea. Look at these beautiful birds. It's important to know that, well, bird numbers are much less than they used to be. Possibly, well, we're only left with barely 1/3 of what we used to have. But it's encouraging to see, though, that they're still out with us, that the high diversity is still there. And interestingly, folks, all these birds, the long-tailed ducks, the surf scoters, the rhinoceros sockets, and woodland mergansers, if you pay attention, you can all see that in Victoria Harbour, interestingly. So in the heart of the city, you can see these birds, and further away in the city. It's kind of interesting. So there is great potential for restoration. All these birds, although they are in smaller numbers than in the past, are still with us. Very quickly, this is my second last picture. Look at these brant and surf scoters. This is off Point Roberts a few weeks ago, just south of the Fraser River. Point Roberts in Washington State, but basically, look what happens when there is herring spawning. So we had a huge event of spawning herring off Point Roberts, and all the brant and all the surf scoter went there to feed on the spawn. It was spectacular. So what I'm saying is we need to see the herring back to Greater Victoria. This is why I'm here with you today to tell you, well, we have lots of wildlife around Greater Victoria, but we could have a lot more if we make the herring come back. And it could be done. Last picture before I just want to tell you, you know that in Victoria we are proud of our natural environment. Year after year, the Victoria Foundation, through its Vital Signs report, identified our natural environment as being asset number 1. I really believe it to be true, but if we keep working on it, if we keep restoring our creeks, and if we bring back the herring, it could even be better. So I just wanted to tell you about our old bird sanctuary that has been reborn as a new naturehood officially 2 years ago, and in fact that we have a lot of positive things happening in Greater Victoria. Thank you for your time.